Guys, I'm gonna tell you something. I've been telling you guys in many videos. I've got thousands of videos online, folks. I've told you many times I've been protected all my life, and from the things that I've been through and the things I've done, I am sure of that. Even still to this day. But uh, there was back in the early 80s, when I mean like 1981 or 82, I was living in West Palm Beach, Florida, and was running Fort Lauderdale and Miami Beach, especially during spring breaks. I was hanging out at them beaches with all them college chicks. No doubt, I ain't gonna deny that. But when I first moved down there, we're a bunch of hillbillies. We know where to look, find some weed. I mean, that's all we wanted. We didn't want all the other crap that they were dishing out. We didn't care about none of that. We just wanted some weed. So we found places that were called, I'm going to say it real quick, get it over with, and then I'm just going to say in or whatever. Okay. We called it Nigger Town, and we were buying nigger nickels. That's what it was called. They even called it that, to be a fact. Now, there were places that we would pull up that was just like off of a dirt spot off of in a road that had bushes and trees around it and stuff. You pull off there, and it was a long way either way that they were watching. But when you pulled up there into that spot, people came out of the trees and bushes and stuff. Well, half of them had automatic weapons. I'm telling you, they look like Uzis to me, and I know what an Uzi looks like. But there would be two or three of them that had different things. One guy'd have a big old, almost a pound of weed, good weed, in this big bag in his arm. And then another guy, if you was looking for something else, then one of the other guys would come up that had the dope. I'm just telling you the truth, folks. Now I had a guy I worked at in some restaurants as bussing tables and washing dishes when I first got down there. But I ended up getting on working for the Florida Power and Light. I was working for Florida Power and Light, good company. And I even got one guy that came down from where I grew up as well. He came down to Florida, and I got him on there working as well. So we were making decent money, and my roommates didn't have a car. I had a car. One of the guys that we worked with at Florida Power and Light, he always made us call him Slick. I knew his name. I was his supervisor on the job, so I knew his real name, but he wanted to be called Slick, so I called him Slick. And he tells me, hey, or I asked him, hey, man, can you get any weed? Everybody I knew was dried up. I couldn't get any. And he looked at me and said, oh, you just want some weed? I said, yeah. He goes, I'll give you an address. And I promise you, if you drive down there to this bar and you come in that bar and ask for me, I will sell you whatever weed however much weed you want. I said, all right, well, what's the problem? Just give me an address. I wasn't scared. So Slick, he gives me an address and everything, and I mean, it's like a couple of days later before I ended up going down there. I told him it'd be the weekend because it was down in Fort Lauderdale. And in town, is what they called it. And I was like, I ain't scared of that town. Why would I be scared of it? So I drive down there. I pull into the address the guy that Slick gives me. I got a 1973 Plymouth Fury 3, a Plymouth Fury 3 that I painted with a brush and a roller and oil-based paint, folks. I am about as hillbilly as you can get. It's a fact. Me and my dad painted that car with rollers and brushes with oil-based paint, not car paint. That's another story. But I drove down there. I got out. It's a bar that I was going into. There wasn't really anybody outside that walking around or anything. I know where I'm at. I was in the middle of in town in Fort Lauderdale in 1982. And I walked straight in the bar like I owned the place. I walked up. I'm looking around. It's so dark in there. They got big and lights and loud music. You know, it was all going on. So I walk over. The bar came up almost to the doorway, by the doorway. So I walk over. I look at the bartender. I said, "Hey, can you tell me where I can find Slick at? Do you know Slick?" And he goes, "Very back corner on your left. Appreciate you." I walk back here. As I'm walking back now, I'm walking through this bar. All these people have turned and now are looking at me. I look like I was albino in this place. All of a sudden, I start hearing this guy in the back. Now, he had a lot higher voice than mine, but he was, he just busting up, and I'm hearing him. And I'm going down the way the bartender told me where he was. And I walk on down and walk up to his table, and him and a couple of guys sitting there, they're just busting up. I already told him what amount of weed I want. And they're just busting up. I'm looking, and finally everybody's kind of, I felt all the other eyes go off of me when I walked up to this guy's table. He's going, "I can't even believe you did that." I said, "Did what? You told me to meet you down there, didn't you?" He's going, "Yeah. But I can't believe you did that." And he threw that big old bag of weed out there on the table. And I go, "How much I owe you?" He goes, "You don't owe me nothing. I told you, you come down there, I'll get you what you want." And I turn around and I walk back out. Now, about 2 weeks later, my roommates wanted to go get some weed at the same place. And I'm like, all right, because they heard I went down there and got it. One of them even knew Slick. He worked with us. The roommate that worked with us. They drove my car down there, and they didn't even get out of it. The whole town was mad because there was a bunch of busts made that day. One of my roommates, after they threw the cinder block through my front windshield of my Cornet, busted it right through into the driver's lap, a cinder block. The other roommate jumped out. He didn't have nothing but a pair of shorts on and ran across the freshly cut cornfield, rammed stuff up into his feet and everything. He was so scared. But they broke out every window in my car other than the driver's window. And that's because my roommate that was driving had it down, getting ready to ask if he could get some wheat. Well, they attacked him. They sliced all my tires. They threw rocks through my back window so hard that the rock stuck in the front seat, the back of the front seats, in between the springs. I walked in that bar a couple of weeks before that, inside it, and got weed. And nothing happened to me. These guys destroyed my car, and both of them ended up in the hospital. They were lucky they weren't killed. That's a fact, because they did kill an old woman that came through there like an hour or so before or after these guys. They killed this old woman by throwing a cinder block through her side window as she was driving through there, hit her in the head. Folks, you never know. You never know. But we fought with them guys in that town. They robbed us a couple times, and we went back and robbed them in a hillbilly way. We didn't have no guns because me and my cousins and stuff we didn't have no guns. We were lucky to be able to move down there and still have a car. It wasn't, I'm not kidding you. So when they got to the point, a white person pull up, hey, I got my money, and they'd show you weed or sell you grass sometimes. Grass clippings. You had to know who to deal with, So they burned us so many times, we just, all right, that's it. Let's go get it back. And we did, folks. We loaded up my old Plymouth Fury with baseball bats, S-wing, framing hammers, ice picks, and 3 hillbillies. And when we went back to that town and robbed them, they chased us. We got what we went for, and they chased us. Oh, we had a bunch of them behind us. But once I hit, we were about a half a mile to 3/4 of a mile off of I-95. And once I already had a step. I was in front of all of them. Once I hit I-95, I buried it, and we held it all the way back to West Palm Beach. And none of them caught up with us, but we had a couple of them chasing us. And we never went back down to that town after that. That's hillbilly stuff. Ice picks, baseball bats, and framing hammers going up against guns. Can you get any more hillbillier than that? You guys, before I hang it up, I love you. God loves you, for sure. Seek his son. Seek Jesus, please. I'm begging you. That's the only way out of this. There's no other way. So just do that. Love you guys.